I am so glad to be here. Capex is so like home for me. I have been coming for a really, really long time, and I love every single time I come here. Every time I come here, I see new faces, but one of the wonderful things I like and really love about Capex is that y'all have been going for a long time. And you've had your ups and you've had your downs, and y'all have fought, and then y'all come back together and love, and that's what it's all about. Because if you think you're going to have an organization and there ain't going to be no fighting, you might as well close the doors right then. It's going to happen because we're people and we're all different, and there ain't no kind of way that we're going to be okay with everything. The thing is, though, that we can rise above that and come back and be together. And Capex has consistently done that over the years. I love it, and I love being here. And I just wanted y'all to know that. Yeah. So, they picked wax, which means I should have been here last night so I could have gotten wax. Because I only got here a little bit about an hour ago, and my wax is not waxed. So, we're going to talk about wax before we actually do any, and give it a little bit more time, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to work that. But I brought different kinds of wax, and that's probably the biggest thing that I really want to talk about is one of the things that I like about wax play is when you're really new and you're starting, you can start with all of the really basic things that doesn't incorporate putting somebody in bondage, because a lot of times when you're really new, that fear of being confined is too scary. You're too new in the thing. It's like, I don't want you to tie me up and then I'm in the midst of someone that I have no knowledge of how you're going to do and what you're going to do with me. So when you start with things that are mild, and I'm all about a touchy-feely kind of person. Wax is one of those things that you can make it really, really mild, or you can make it really, really extreme. And that's the wonderful thing about playing with wax. I brought several different kinds of things that you can do with wax and use with waxing. And my absolute favorite is paraffin wax, but I'm not talking about like the paraffin wax that you buy, although that's okay too. I'm not talking about the house wax that you buy like at the grocery store in the little box and blocks. I'm talking about, and every lady knows this, when we go to the place and get waxed, they put the cool, really warm, you can dip your hands in, you can dip your feet in, and you're like, kind of wax. I love it because I just like to play with people's body and draw things, and it makes perfect molds. If you take a vagina and put it in wax, you can peel it off and you got the whole pretty thing. It works really good with penises too. So you get to actually use a wax that you can use for a long period of time for the person, and they can stand it. And we know that because, you know, when we go and we have our hands dipped, they're dipped for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and, you know, they're in there. So obviously, you know, it doesn't get to a temperature that makes you not be able to withstand it. And that's what I love the most about the paraffin, because when someone is really new and they don't know whether they're going to enjoy it or not, that gives them the opportunity to feel the mildest of it. And they're like, oh, well, that's not so bad. And then you can kind of build it up from there if that's what you want to do. Or you can just stick with that. If they, you know, if you try other things and they're like, whoa, that's going to be too intense, you can always back it back down. I love being able to play with different intensities because we live in our heads. So we're always trying to think about the next what. She's going to do the next what. she's done this, what? She's done this for how long? I got to get y'all out of your heads. That's just wait. So I find ways to do that. And I'm a hypnotherapist. That's my job. My job is to get you out of your head. And sometimes to straighten up your head. Sometimes I got to get you out of your head even to straighten up your head. So, the thing that I love the most about this lifestyle is that it gives you the opportunity to be here in the now. You know, I'm dripping wax on your pussy. You ain't thinking about tomorrow. I'm taking a paintbrush and I am slapping wax on your dick. You right there. Trust me, you right there. Lady D. Because you want to make sure that shit is still okay. You know how you men are. Y'all be checking all the damn time. So obviously, you want to know shit is okay. So you're going to be right there with me all the way. And that's the whole point of it. That's what I love about being able to do it. I brought the paraffin wax, which, like I said, is my favorite. The other thing that I really love about paraffin wax is that you actually can draw. You can paint things. And, you know, I'm good for sticking my initials or doing all kinds of stuff with different waxes. The other things that I brought, and let me hand them to Gypsy, is wax candles, which is really good for drinking as well. Yes, the open each one. Because you can start, and when you start, this is the way you should start. First of all, the lightest to the darkest. The darker the candle, the more intense it's going to be. It has more pigment, so it's going to be a lot darker, and it's going to be a lot hotter. So you start with your little white candle and start up high. If you start up high and you're starting up here, then you're letting them judge how that's going to feel. You know, they may can handle it up here, but they may not can't handle it when it gets down here. And that's especially may be true if we're talking about a dark candle. So you want to go from light to dark, unless to all of the sadists in the room, y'all probably gonna do just the opposite. Oh, let me see what she said. She said the black is the oh, where's the black? I know.
Red metallic.
Yeah. See? Oh, you really a son of a bitch. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the metallic. Okay. Wow. We need to have some of those, maybe not so much. Metallic, just like beeswax, are probably things you need to stay away from. They look really pretty. They don't work so good on the skin unless we're talking about peeling it. I don't mean peeling off the skin, I mean peeling the skin. Now if that's your, you know, then go for it. And, you know, don't say I didn't say it, because I want to make sure, that's why I'm taping my shit. So I can so when y'all come back and say, but lady, play the damn tape. What did I say? What did I say? Okay, that's right. See, I know y'all. I've been lots of years. Yes, it is.
Well, you can peel the skin one time.
Yeah, that first layer. Yeah, that's true. So that's probably, and beeswax is another one. Beeswax is super hot. You need to check your candles and make sure it does not have beeswax in it. I don't know, of course, I'm in North Carolina and I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I don't know candle distributors here or whether y'all have people in the lifestyle that makes candles. We have an incredible man in Atlanta that makes candles, and Tim makes any kind of candle. All you have to do is just kind of tell him what you want. He makes beautiful decorative candles, but he makes fantastic flake candles.
Tender
and so,
Dom,
oh,
I think is his website.
Yes, Tender Dom. Thank you, Jips. And he makes really, really, really good candles. So you can purchase and get really safe candles that you don't have to worry about. But if you decided you're in the store and you want to see one, just make sure that you're looking at the ingredients and making sure that they don't have metal flakes in them. Unless that's what you're going for.
I'm the problem.
Yeah, I know, always. It's not that you don't know, you just ain't gonna do right, but that's okay.
No, I know.
That's what I said. It's not that you don't know, because I know you know.
Everybody has a choice.
They get warned beforehand. Not about the exact specifics, but they know my reputation.
Yeah. It's a damn good thing too.
At least a few states a radius.
So back to the wax. So if you're going from the light, going to the dark. I could not for the life of me find my black candles, so we don't have black. Dark blue is the darkest that we have. But each one of them has its own different heat, and so that's the way that you want to work it. I would even suggest that you take it and drop a couple on yourself. First of all, wax is not going to hurt you. And if we got to do some damage, it's better for us to do it to ourselves than to do it to our property. Because if you get the reputation that you hurt your property or you hurt people that you play with, nobody gonna want to play with you. That would not be a good thing. So I tend to, all toys, even when I buy a toy, I try it on myself. Mainly because ain't nobody else gonna beat my ass but me. So I ain't got no choice but to try it on myself. So I know what's gonna happen and what it's gonna do, what it won't do. So we have the candles, and then the last, which is also one of my favorites, and I don't even know when we get a chance to do very much of it today, is my bottles. That's when you just want to drown people in wax. I mean, literally drown people in wax. And it's really, really cool, because the one thing about wax, and especially if you're not seeing what's going on, that's a big part of it. It's a difference doing a scene where the person can sit and watch you put the wax on them than when they're not. Because they don't, you know, once again, we live in our heads, so what you think is going on, and you know, Lady D loves mind fucking. That's what I do. I'm a hypnotherapist, I keep telling you. That's what I do. So, not knowing a lot of times makes it that much more fun, because you don't know what I'm using and you don't know where I'm at. And another thing about wax is it gives off that wonderful warmth and heat, but do you know that you can put ice and get that exact same sensation, and it gets to the point where you don't know whether it's the wax and you don't know whether it's the ice. And that's very, very cool, you know, because sometimes we play okay, let's play this game. You got to guess which it is, you know. And I ain't going to tell you what the consequences is if you get it wrong, but there is some. Ready? I'm ready! So,
I like that game.
yeah, see, I knew you'd like that game.
And the small crock pot is ready.
Yes, I know. That's the only one. That and this is probably so. In any case, that to me is another wonderful thing to be able to do with the wax, and to be able to play back and forth with different things. I always cover my area, and once I stop doing the talking thing, you know, because there ain't nothing worse than slipping on plastic, because I've done it before. And Mama's getting too old to fall. So I pushed it back. But cover your area, and then cleanup is nothing but getting people, get all the wax off them, chink, chink, dump it in the trash, and we good to go. Also, because I'm the laziest top in the world, I go for that kind of stuff. So I don't have to stress me. So, does anybody have any questions about waxing? Oh, a couple other things. One, for all of the hairy men in the room. Now this is the true sadist. Now you talking about true sadist is taking him and then saying, exactly, see? I understand.
He knows about waxing.
And say, we're going to do waxing. Yeah. So, if you don't want to shave him, which I have a big shaving fetish, so I love that. But if for any reason they cannot be shaved, then you need to take and put a coating down. Now understand, I do, and I put like baby oil and stuff. The coating is going to. Alrighty now.
Hillbilly.
Goes good with fava beans.
I'm just saying that's a whole different.
That's a whole different class now. Y'all done took me off to another place. All right, bring me back. Bring me back. Okay, so yeah, you want to now. The other side of that is the oil is going to make it feel just a little bit warmer than just the skin. But you know, we can get it off a lot easier. Because there's nothing you want to call somebody call you a son of a bitch. Wait till you put wax and you're pulling wax out of every single video, and there's no other way to get it out. So for all of you true sadists in the room, okay, that's why I'm recording, because see, I know y'all gonna be like, but Lady D said that's optional. No, I didn't say that, but y'all can make it optional. It's okay, it's all good. It's whatever you two negotiate. So, but you do need to think about that, because, and then think about the fact that wax, just like fire, is gonna follow the path. You know, so if you're waxing a woman in the front, then you got to keep track of the fact that, you know, I got these boulder holders up here, and so you either got to go around them, through them, over them, and under them necessarily. Exactly. Not necessarily in that order.
I think through them puts us back with the fava beans.
Yeah, it does.
That's what skills.
Or we just even went to a needle placing. All right. But in any case, so keep that in mind, because you can put it here and it's going to travel to here. And so if that's not your intent, because there's some parts of your body is going to be a lot more sensitive than others when you're talking about wax. Now, sometimes that's what we're going for. You know, I want to play in those areas that most people aren't always playing in, because you know, we always think the main areas of the body, and you know, it's the back and it's the bottom. But you know, I usually want to go in places that you're like, who would think to do that? Okay, that's why yeah, all of us doms do. We, you know, we're like cray-cray like that. But it's okay, because it's our color of crazy. And you have already said yes to my crazy. So I really don't want to hear it, you know? So that's exactly why I do it, you know? There you go, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And here's your sign. So anyway, so you have all of those things if you're going to deal with somebody that, you know, has hair and women that has crevices. Y'all just need to be aware. It's important that you be aware, specifically when you're doing stuff like fire play. But it's also important in wax play, because depending on, you know, like sometimes I may want to do something here, but I want to make sure that this ain't going to be going, you know, all under armpits and stuff. If that's not where I want it to go, more than likely I'm going to lift your arm up and do it on your armpit just because it's Lady D and I'm cray-cray like that. But at least you would know that up front. Well, you'll know it at the time. Or you're like, damn. Did I put some oil there underneath there? See, I'd only do that to you fellas, because you'll be like, but see, I really would have done the oil. You just won't know that I've done the oil, and I'll fuck with your head again. You'll be like, oh my God, how am I gonna get that out? I got this. All right, so are there any questions? Yes.
Are those just regular tapers, or are they like a special kind of taper?
These are regular tapers, but I checked and made sure that there was, that I could use them. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, is make sure that you check and make sure that you can use them. If you don't want to go through all of that, then go and get them from Lifestyle People, because that's what they make them for. I mean, the whole purpose is, we know we're going to want to play, we know we want to put some wax on folks, and so, you know, that's what they do. Yes, baby?
Don't they recommend unscented also? Don't use scented candles?
Yes, scented candles is, you know, yeah, because those scents, well, first of all, there's a lot of reasons for not using for using unscented candles. The thing about scented candles is people could be allergic just to the fragrance itself. And you don't know that until they start breaking out and shit, and, you know, and you're like, oh, you mean you can't do lavender? Oh man, my bad. Once again, see, nobody wants to play with your ass, that's why.
You may not know what actual chemical that scent was.
And you might, right. That's true. Yes, because they do combine a whole lot of stuff. And unfortunately, I hate to say, they leave a lot of stuff out of this is what is in here. You know,
Especially
they may put the
made in
May
China.
stuff, but I think that there's a thing, like if it has less than whatever, they ain't got to actually put it on.
Yeah.
So you just want to be safe, and that's why I say to be safe, you know, get lifestyle stuff. I can definitely tell you, when you go into the grocery store and get the boxes of the household wax, those always work. Ladies, y'all know where to get all of the paraffin stuff. Those always work. But when you start talking about candles and actually using candles, just be kind of careful and make sure you don't.
I heard cheaper is usually better for our purposes. Is that still the case these days?
It has been. I buy most of my shit at the dollar store or thing. I even buy the big candles, although it's difficult to get the color candles and thing. And I get the color. Okay, this is so wrong. But
Where do you get the colors? Where are you getting the color?
We love you.
don't make me come to the back of the room. Don't make me come to the back of the room. I actually go into the religious stores and I purchase them. I've tried to do this so that they're just the candles. But you know, a lot of times when you go into religious stores and you get them, they have, you know, all of their saints and stuff. It's kind of hard to wax somebody's pussy when you. That's another scene. That's a role-playing scene.
There's no saint.
And I am Sister Mary Thomas, and when I'm Sister Mary Thomas,
Clarence.
that's appropriate. But Lady D just can't bring herself to do that. So, well, that's where I get my colored candles.
You turn it around so the face isn't looking at you, or so it's not looking at the big
No, I turn around so the face ain't looking at me.
Oh, so
Yeah, I'm holding it, so I don't care what else is looking at. I just don't want to do that. You know, because those are the eyes I see, you know? It's like, ain't you supposed to be praying? Not playing? I'm like, okay, can't we do both? I am so talented. I can pray and play at the same time. That's what I'm saying. So, in any case, any other questions? Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. See, y'all make me get crazy. Okay, do we have other questions? Has it? How many people? Yes, babe.
Oh, I just want to comment that, you know, when you're trying the candle out on yourself, remember that height cooler thing.
So you're saying don't try it? Don't try it like that.
Yeah, I read where somebody they started doing wax play, and so they tried it out on themselves, but they started out way down here, and then it startled them how hot it was, and they splashed the wax on
Everywhere.
Oh.
Everywhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's like the psst, hot. Psst, hot.
Oh. One of the things.
Oops, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't wax play all the time, but I have bought some for playing. And if you don't store them properly, they will flow. These are still fluid objects, so if you leave them on their side for a while, they'll get flat spots. And it depends on the temperature that they're stored at. Cooler temperatures, they're gonna store better on their sides. If you're in a warmer environment, like my house in summer, a couple years and they're
Same thing with these.
Yeah.
If you're gonna wrap them, take paper and wrap them individually, then put them all in a bag. If you just put them all together like this, that's what you're gonna have. and usually it's not even that nice that you can still use them. They're just a blurb of colors, you know, and the wick is usually in the middle, so you ain't nothing you can do with them but throw them away. So yeah, when you're, thank you for reminding me about the storing. So when you go to store stuff like this, you need to.
I did that with a bag of Jolly Ranchers one time.
They can go bad surprisingly quick. They can go bad surprisingly quick.
They can go bad surprisingly quick. And going back to the paraffin, let me show you something.
When you mean go bad, what's the bad?
I've left them on the side and the wax is all rolled out of the candle. Into a bag.
When we were talking about fragrances, this actually is a fragrance, but because it's paraffin, it's not like the fragrance candles. And
Talking about the melted wax and the crock pot thing, it's usually better to use one of those devices that's actually made to use that. A conventional kitchen crock pot,
it's too hot.
It's too hot.
This crock pot here, my little crockette, this is my traveling crock pot.
Yeah.
This is actually my kitchen crock pot. That's wonderful. Well, it's wonderful because it's tall when you want to, because I'm melting a glass in hot water, and so that works for that. I would not put wax in a conventional crock pot. Yes, it's going to get really...
And besides, it messes up the roast next time.
Why am I picking this shit out of my mouth? Yes, so does. So, back to what I was saying about this. So this my paraffin, I do sometimes buy incense. Only because I like to do that too. I like aromatherapy. I love senses. I burn incenses. I do burn candles that have fragrances because I like that as well. So sometimes I want to be able to play with that. But when you buy them and you buy them like this in big chunks, I try not to use waxes over and over again on different people. Because even if you're using a different brush, you're dipping in that brush, you're putting it on that person's body. So whatever is happening from their body, and you're dripping them back in there. So no. And they made that rule for a purpose. You know how many times you done got really, really mad because somebody done double dipped and that's some shit you really wanted to eat, and now you ain't gonna eat it because they done double dipped in it. So, so what I do is I take these and I break them down, and I do the same thing with the when you buy the packages of the household wax, because you know it comes in 4 blocks. So you burn a block at a time, depending, knowing what your scene is in your head that you want. You know what I'm saying? But you burn enough that you want for that scene, for that person. So at the end of that, you can take that and pour it out and clean out your pot, and it be ready for you to do new wax for someone else. And I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, because you don't want to use wax over and over again for different people, especially when you're playing with different parts, and you know, waxes go into a lot of places. Yes, baby.
If you're playing with the same person, how long will wax hold that you can reuse it before you should toss it?
I have to truthfully say, I don't know, but
Forever.
I have,
Well,
I have kept my, a lot of it depends on where you are, like he said, it depends on where you are and what you're trying to do. But in my crock pot, I've kept wax in my crock pot probably for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, we've actually got one of those therapy, you get your hands in for wax play, and that lasts forever.
But then I have like zillions of crock pots.
I mean,
You know.
wax is an organic material, so heat will degrade it over time. But I don't think, I think you're right, a long time is the thing.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Beeswax, which you shouldn't use because it's so hot, will break down fast.
It will break down the fastest, but the person that you use it on is gonna break down.
Yeah.
For you.